We're live. Okay, I guess we all set there in Monrovia, Liberia, on Red FM, and we all set to go. We just waiting for the guys in Monrovia to give us signal as to whether we are all set. But this is the bottom line. If you're joining us for the first time, we'd like to say welcome to this important broadcast. Um, Tonight, we're going to have a house full of panelists to discuss real issues, and we're going to have important guests.
Linford Egon Dwyer, Mark Ayetfa, and Jamel Kamara on the bottom line. Yes, it's the bottom line only on Red Power FM.
Okay, and so let me say welcome once again to the bottom line. This is a program that brings you information about Liberia and about Liberians. We are based in Europe, and we have our panelists from across several countries in Europe. We have Mr. Paul the Lord Chiruple from the United Kingdom in London, and we also have Mr. Mark Farr. He's based in the Royal Kingdom of North of Sweden, and Jamal Kamara, who will not be with us tonight. He's also based in Manchester, the United Kingdom. And my name is Linford Goer. I am coming to you from Norway. And so we are a European-based organization, and we bring you developments from Liberia. And as you may have already heard, this is our first uh, broadcast on radio in Liberia, and we are coming to you from Red Power FM. I understand is uh, a radio station that reaches several counties in Liberia. And so, if you are fortunate to be a part of the broadcast tonight, we say welcome and please make this place your home. We'll always come your way every Tuesday on Red Power FM. But the bottom line comes on every Tuesday and Friday at 7 o'clock Liberian time. And so let me go to my panelist, Paul. Good evening, and how are you doing?
Good evening, Lincoln. Good evening to the rest of you guys in studio. It's the first time in Liberia. Happy to be here. I'm good. It's good to also interact with the people in Monrovia Institute, especially Brother Moses Colley over there. It's nice to be here. So, yeah, I'm good.
And Mark from Sweden, how are you doing?
I'm good, Brother Linfo, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys. And thanks to the Red Power FM family, and it's a pleasure once again. And thanks to the Liberian people that will be listening to us as we talk about the issue, most especially this coming election. And I can't wait to get the show started.
Great, great, great. Um, I guess our guys in studio in Liberia, everything is okay, and we on the air. And so we just like to inform you that tonight we'll be discussing the just ended CPP National Convention for the year 2022, and we will be looking at the convention itself, and we'll be talking to real people who were at that convention. What did they take away? What do they think about the convention? What value does that convention add to the electoral process, especially for the CPP? And we're going to have panelists coming on the program. We have our guest panelist. He's always going to be here, Mr. Duke Estrada JJ. He's going to be with us. So let's say welcome to the Duke. How are you, sir? You are on the radio in Liberia and you are on Bottom Line platform.
The bottom line, how you're doing? It's always good to be here with the fellows, man. I see Lord there. You gotta call him Lord now. That's the British thing, right?
Indeed, indeed. Man, it's good to see you, Duke. Um, I'm in the United Kingdom, so good friend of King Charles. So that's where the Lord name comes from. When the British Empire crown you, you take their crown. So, and one of these days, when I'm arriving in Liberia, I guess I will be the Duke of Liberia in the near future. So have whoever become the next president will actually meet me to welcome me into the Republic of Liberia. So welcome, guys.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. And so tonight we look forward to a very interesting discussion, and if time permits, we're going to have Madam Victoria Kwekwe, the CPP aspirant for senatorial seat in Montserrat County. She was at a convention, and we hope that she's going to join us, and she can give us her own impression about the convention and what have you. But guys, we're working within time frame, and so we got to keep the ball rolling. The CPP just ended its national convention, and at that convention, there were three separate conventions held. Actually, the CPP, as you know, is made out of two parties: the LP and the ANC. The ANC had uh, her convention, while simultaneously the LP was having their convention, and at the end of the day, on day two, uh, there was a joint national convention of the CPP, and a decision came from that convention, that is to let Mr. Alexander B. Cummings maintain or retain his stand-up bearership at the head of the CPP ticket, and that convention went well. Duke, you are one of those that have been following every activity of the CPP. What did you make of that convention?
Yes. Thanks for asking that question. I appreciate all of you. I think we had a great convention. I was talking to somebody a few days ago that it happens to be that the convention, you could tell, you could get from the energy, right, that it was not something that was forced. You didn't have people there that you had to truck to the place. It seems like everybody there came with some good intentions and it was genuine. And I also admire the process. Just the democracy that was shown, the level of structure that actually presented itself throughout, the whole process in its entirety. The process in its entirety, I think, was great for the CPP and Mr. Cummings, and I think this is the way forward.
Mark, you tend to be a silent guy, but very observant, and you've been following the political activities in Liberia. Talk to me about our convention. I guess you saw part of it or you watched the entire thing.
Yeah, I watched the entire convention. There is nothing I would miss when it comes to, most especially the chairperson of the CCP, who happens to be the standard bearer, is somebody that I follow religiously. And one of the reasons is that this country, Liberia, since 1822 and officially 1847, historically, reflection, we have had president like the late President Tolba, but looking at Mr. Cummings and reading his messages and what he put out there and what he present is something that I won't miss for a second. So the event, I believe, was a great event, and one of the things that was amazing about it that the VP pick was not announced, and which was reserved for whatsoever county the VP going to come from, which going to be a boost and a mobilization for the people of that county. Because looking at Liberian politics now, even though regardless of the issue, and one of the main person that articulate the issue well and is consistent when it comes to the issue affecting Liberia has been Alexander B. Cummings. And so I believe that was a smart move on behalf of the CPP to reserve that and let it be done in a county, and that was one of my picks from the whole incident that I admire.
Good. Paul, you are not just an honorary guy in the CPP or ANC, so to speak. You are the regional chairperson for the whole of Europe ANC Global. Tell me, this NET convention, what advantage do you think it adds to the CPP and the ANC in the coming elections?
Thank you, Linford. I think what we saw from all indication that people are kept saying that we don't have the numbers, but the 10 or other convention give us different picture of what have been propagated out there. So from what I've saw, I think it's something that we all should watch out for. So it gave us hope, and then it also gave us something that will look at the Liberians are not sleeping. People are silent, but then the 10 out show it gave different pictures. So that picture it might be extended after maybe when the device standard bearer is picked, it could be something else. So that's how I see it. And I think our guest is in the background.
Okay,
Victoria,
so our guest is in the background, so we will be bringing her in, and she's no stranger to this platform. She's been here before, and probably on the political field, she's not a stranger. So let's welcome Madam Victoria Tolo Kwekwe. She's a senatorial aspirant for Monserrado County on the CPP ticket. Madam Kwekwe, welcome. Oh, you need to unmute yourself, I think.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here again, and I look forward to a fruitful discussion. And I want to say good evening to the people of Liberia, especially the people of Monserrado. And I want to say, Moses, you there in studio, I see you. How are you, Moses?
Okay. And so let's say welcome to you. You are a staunch member of the CPP stroke ANC. Now, you just had a convention in Kansas City, Nima County. Tell us exactly what did you take from that convention? Did you experience something new? Is there any new momentum added to the CPP from that convention?
Yes, of course, every day something is adding on to the CPP. First of all, let me say that the convention was a democratic process we had to go through because even though the framework document states that the standard bearer will come from the ANC, but then we had to go to a convention to endorse that person. So we went to the convention to endorse our political leader and also endorse some of our legislative candidates. And I am one of those who were endorsed. So congratulations to me. So I expected a convention, just a convention. But then the momentum that was built in Ganta, it was extraordinary. I will tell you that the first night I arrived in Ganta, I could not get a sleeping place. I had to go because I could not continue going from one hotel to another and people telling me that there is no room here. So I had to sleep in Banga, and then later on somebody told me that they were going to give me a room to be in Ganta so that I don't be going back and forth. So yes, the momentum built in Ganta was we didn't expect that kind of momentum. Or we thought we were just going to a convention, a normal convention where you have delegates coming from around the country, the 15 counties and the 73 districts. So we expected just those people at the convention. But then people who
Hello?
were going live,
Yeah, Moses, you are on.
Yes.
Moses, you
Moses,
have to
you got
mute
to you have to go out of the studio, not off here
or
to
you
receive
mute
your telephone
yourself.
call. If he mutes himself, probably he will not get through. We will not get through because
No,
we are on
he's
the radio
okay.
right now.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he
Okay.
needs to
So,
go out.
so but not to waste your time. Did you experience an increase in a size of the crowd? I mean, like you've been attending CPD or ANC meeting before or conventions. Did you experience any increase or decrease? Because the reason I'm asking this question is this convention was held in a backyard of the VP pick of the Unity Party. Okay, so you were in somebody's home having this convention. You were not in your neutral ground or in your own private home. You're in somebody's home and having this convention. So what did you see?
This is exactly what I was explaining. We went to a convention. We didn't go to a political rally, but this convention, the citizen of Nimba County turned this convention to a political rally. You saw the crowd, the momentum when the day of the CPP convention, when I was driving from the hotel to the Peace Empire. I was stopped by the crowd. You saw me dancing all over the place because all of you guys were live. I saw most of you guys your media entity live. So what it shows is that ANC has to do more work to get more than what we saw on that day. But the message is resonating, especially in Nimba County. And when you talk about in somebody's backyard, look, this is politics. No one has control over any county. We only need to do the work. We have the right messaging that people want to listen to. People are suffering in the country, and they believe that Mr. Cummings is the right person to take us from what we are in. They believe that Mr. Cummings is the right person to create jobs in Liberia. So nobody's stupid here anymore. So whenever we hear about Mr. Cummings is going somewhere, people come up. Even the day I was leaving Monrovia, people were calling me from different parts of the country. Sisvik, can you help us? We want to carry more people. People want to go there. People are excited about Mr. Cummings. And let me tell you that for me, I do not like the Lone Star and Orange. Before there was Lone Star and Cellcom, publicity where you hear Lone Star talking about red chicken, yellow chicken. And I tell people that for me, I'm not a very big business woman, but I have done business before, and I'm very jealous. When I'm doing business, I do not like. Moses, you have the noises in your background, Moses.
I think he's monitoring the radio.
I think Zoe has to take her time. I think she's running too fast. I need to talk to her too. She can't put you on a lot of pressure.
Moses, you're live. You're live. We can
Moses,
hear
you
your
are live. You are
conversation.
live.
So.
Also, if you have to talk, you have to go off.
Moses, you have to go.
Okay, yeah, flow. Madam Quick. Okay, yeah, but not to keep you talking for long. Or I got the other panelists. Probably one of them want to come in and chip in.
Yeah, but let me just conclude on this part about the yellow chicken and the red chicken. So when I am talking about my political leader, I want to tell the Liberian people what my political leader can do. I do not even want for anybody to think that there is anybody he's in competition with. Yeah. So the only thing I do, so I don't want to talk about the red chicken on the other side because I do not even want for people to know that there is a chicken. So the momentum I saw it is telling the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings is the answer.
Good. Guys, anybody there?
It's good to have you back here, Madam Coupe. It's a pleasure again interacting with you for the second time. Mark, come in and chime in for 2 minutes.
Uh, Welcome to the show, Victoria. And uh, my question to you is that you work close with Mr. Cummings and from the ANC now in collaboration with the Liberty Party. Do you think Mr. Cummings or the CCP decisions as to not, as people, were assuming that Yombly would have been the pick of the ticket, do you think that was
Pressure
a
go
smart
up to some
decision,
extent.
or Yombly became a liability for which she was dropped?
Thank you for the question. I don't know. I'm hearing myself. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So, thank you for the question. When I look at Mr. Cummings, and it is not just today, I have seen this in him, even after the court case, and I sat on the table with Mr. Cummings in a meeting, and I said, we need to take action. We will sue the people. Then he said, what do we benefit from this? What do we benefit from this? So Mr. Cummings here, and people trying to frame this thing and make it look like Mr. Cummings didn't have anybody on a list of VP people trying to swing it and say, oh, why he went to Yombly, why he did this. Mr. Cummings is just showing to the Liberian people that he is a reconciler. Mr. Cummings is just showing to the Liberian people that he stands with women. With all that happened to Mr. Cummings during the court process in the CPP, he still extended his hand to Yombly to say, Yombly, what has happened, even though you were pushing to be vice to Ambassador Boakai, but this is what has happened. Yombly, come, let's work together. Come, let's sit and fix our country. I don't know what was the result. Somebody is, yeah, because I'm hearing myself. Yeah. So I don't know what was the result, whether she accepted, but the information I got was she was
No
still
matter,
coming back.
friends,
So
may
up to the time she declared her support to JMB, I didn't see it as her name was still not on the list for pick. I didn't see it as that. But now that she has pledged her support to JMB, it means that other people who were on the list, Mr. Cummings will have to look at some of them, one of them to be picked. And we are pushing. And let me tell you, and this is not the first time I'm saying this. The beginning of CPP, I went on radio stations. I have recording to my voice where I said the women of CPP will be on the table. We are not just going to allow only men on the table, and we meant it. Today, we stay by what we said yesterday, and today we are saying it. Tomorrow we say it. We are asking Mr. Cummings to choose a woman as a running mate because we want to see. I'm hearing myself. I don't know. Okay, we want to see where he will be working hand in hand with the women. So we are still making this plea to Mr. Cummings to choose a woman. And on that list, there are still women on that list, and we are asking him to choose a woman.
Great.
Yeah, let me follow up with my question to, our dear brother Duke here. And I urge that we make the answer a little bit brief because we got to go a round table. And Duke, you've
Okay.
been on the ground and you've been in Liberia every now and then. And looking at what has unfolded over the past couple of months with the breakaway CCP, Unity Party, and Yombly faction. Do you think it came a time that Yombly became a liability for which I want to believe that the decision was not taken by Mr. Cummings alone, right? There were a lot of stockholders involved. But do you think it came to a point that she became a liability that she would have caused, Kevin Hall would have caused some damage instead for which she had to make the decision and the CCP had to go along with it? Do you think so?
Well, yes, what I think. First and foremost, I would want to make this clear that I think women should have a seat at the table when it comes to leadership in a country. It's very important because if we're building a country based upon change, then that change should be reflective, right, of what we believe is going to be the driving force when it comes to Liberia. Um, in the case of Yumli, I've said it as of recent. You know, I believe if the Bassa people had somebody in that position of authority with the right skill set, they would have been part of the discussion, if not at the drivers of the discussion of leadership in that country. I don't think Yumli had the tools needed to push the county and her into the stardom, that particular spotlight that was necessary. And I think at some point in time during her time with the CPP, it became clear that there was nothing more that could be offered. And so, look, somebody who had or who carries vision, who understands the essence of leadership, will show some level of confidence in themselves. And I think Yombi lacked confidence. I think Yombi lacked the tools to propel her into the next step of leadership. And I think that was a problem. But I do believe, outside of everything, what has happened thus far is clear manifestation that we're on the right trajectory. And I believe, without any doubt, that the people of Basa is going to get their time, their moment, right? Be it now, be it in the future. But I know that I sense that because, from what we've seen in terms of the potential of Grand Basa, there's a star in the making. And hopefully that person will be able to come with all the tools needed to drive the type of results that the people of Basa need to see.
Great. Great. Just a quick announcement before we proceed. We also air this on the online radio. The bottom line online radio is 24/7. And for those of you that are following up for the first time, you can also download the app. It's on my app stores, Mind Tuning, and we're also on YouTube. We have a technical problem with one of our Facebook page, and some reason Facebook have sent up message, but we're on the other page and we're also on YouTube. So going forward, Duke,
Yep.
lately I saw you're in Liberia recent time, and you are doing some community engagement. Do you want to tell us how did it go? Because we keep hearing the thing in Liberia, and when we listen to people that uh, the CPP does not have the number to win the 2023 election. What your take for being on the ground? What you saw? What you did?
Yeah, it's far from the truth. I told when I was on the closing argument yesterday, and I think I told them that, one of the biggest deception I see on social media is this notion that the CPP or Mr. Cummings does not have a following or they're not poised to be, key players in the presidential election. I think it's far from the truth. It's all propaganda, it's fallacy. My observation is that there's been a great job that they've really done a great job. I was impressed with the mobilization team, my good friend James Momo, and the work that they've actually done across key areas in that place. But I would speak highly of District 17. because that's my home district. That is somewhere that I hold dear to my heart. I'm actually doing a lot of projects there and bringing a lot of people together. I was opportune to have seen Moses when I went in there. He myself will hopefully connect. But look, I went to Douala Market. I was there for hours talking to marketeers and just listening to them. Mr. Cummings, I left with the impression that Mr. Cummings got a chance to pull this off, and he will pull it off. I left with the understanding that they've done, a lot of work. The mobilization efforts of ANC Global, was really impactful in those areas. I went places in the district, door-to-door mobilization we're doing, and I ran across people who were actually telling me that, look, I saw a couple of people the other time here. They were mobilizing for Mr. Cummings. They were talking to us. I went to an area where the family welcomed us in, and they made specific reference of the interaction with people from the ANC who came into the community. I was very impressed with that. It tells me that they're doing the work. And I'm telling you, anybody who thinks that, the CPP does not really have something going on, those are people that just sit on social media. From a truthful perspective, honestly speaking, I think they've done a masterful job. We would just have to do a good job in closing it, and it will have to do all of us, or some of us, going back to Liberia, in which I'm going to be going pretty soon, and just staying there through the entire campaign time is just continuing the mobilization and using our connections to be able to convince people to vote for Mr. Cummings as well.
Okay. So, Sister Tara, I think you can chime into this one as well, because you on the ground and you've been moving around. You also running for the senatorial seat, and you've been traveling the length and breadth of the 17th district. Where you notice, because the propaganda that been going on about the CPP does not have the normal, what's that? And we see a lot of women seem to gravitate towards Mr. Cummings. Do you want to talk to us on that? How the momentum in Monserrado County?
Um, Look, first of all, let me just give you a history about how our momentum started to grow. After the 2017 elections, you had a lot of people who resigned from the Unity Party and came to the ANC. They didn't just come with their hand flying in the air. They came with their supporters. If they have 100 supporters, at least 50 follow them to the ANC, meaning that has reduced the Unity Party's vote. And I will need them. You have Lara Yankwe, who is vocal in Nimba County. Lara Yankwe, who is very vocal in Nimba County, supporting Mr. Cummings' efforts. You have Goshua, Thomas Goshua.
It's the radio station. Go on, sis.
Okay, today is a trial now, so it's
So
okay.
it's,
We
it's
will
on off
manage.
and on. So it's a
Yeah,
tag.
yeah. We
That's
manage.
technology.
So,
Drawbacks are necessary. Yeah.
sure. So you have Thomas Goshua also, who joined the ANC right after the elections. You have Bien Howard, even though he didn't run on a Unity Party ticket, but he was campaigning for JMB. He joined the ANC. Myself here speaking to you, I joined the ANC in 2013, 2014. We were some of the people who said Mr. Cummings had just, and we didn't want to waste our efforts. So we supported JMB with all of the projects that I have implemented across the country, especially in Lofa. We were all there, some kind of way campaigning for JMB. I am sitting here and telling the same people why they should vote for Mr. Cummings. So from that point, we all know that as much as we all know that NEC doesn't keep the vote until the next election and just add it up. No, that doesn't happen. So the think they can be running around on Facebook where say 7%, 7%. That has been killed ever since. When you look at the ANC, I'm not yet going to the CPP. The ANC, there have been nobody who have resigned to go and join the Unity Party. It has always been from their side to our side. You look at Louis Brown, who from the NPP angle, who was supporting the CDC. George Wisner, all those people were supporting. So the momentum is building. When people sit on social media, when I listen to some of the propaganda on social media, I just laugh. We wouldn't need to do the work. Now we have the Liberty Party and the ANC together working hard. We see how much our chairman, the chairman of the CPP, is working very hard in Nima County.
So in short, says
the momentum is building. And one important thing you said, and this has come as evidence from assessments that we have done, that the women believe in Mr. Cummings, the women. And once the women who are the backbone of this country believe in someone, something runs somewhere. I was in Guinea. Somebody told me, a political analyst told me, where you see women and young people following a politician, you should pay attention to that person. Yeah. And that happened in Guinea, where I saw women and young people were behind somebody and that person become president. So today, this is what is happening in our country. The young people, Duke will tell you, the young people, the women, they are there for Mr. Cummings. I'm in this county. If it is not working, if I will not say it on this show, I will tell Duke secretly that, look, it is not working. We have to do this. We have to do that. I will sit with Mr. Cummings and tell him that we have to do this. We have to do this. It is working. We only need to step up the game.
Yeah. Right.
And Paul,
step up the game. So let Duke come in, and then we'll get Linford and Mark to chime in.
Let me say this. I'm big on when people are speaking, listening to the person that's speaking, and then form your opinion. Let me tell you this. One of the proudest moments that I had in that country, there's no corner in Monserrate that I went that somebody did not mention the name Victoria, Sister Victoria, especially amongst young people. She is very popular amongst these young people. And I'm not joking. In corners, when you talk about the ANC and you come across a young person, you hear the name Victoria. So she knows what she's talking. And you know what? It is true. That's the feeling I got. I got this kind of sense that young people and women, they're following Mr. Cummings a lot. That trend is actually in his favor. If you look at some of the people who are pro, the other people, I'm not going to call their name, you will see there's a huge age difference, right? You see that some of those people are stuck in their ways. But when you see the new people, the young people who are just getting into, even somebody that don't like politics, right? But they were talking Mr. Cummings, they were talking about, the ANC. So that was a good sign. And that was a little bit of, that was a moment for me that was confident. I went on Cutler University campus. And the lady, I think she was one of the professors that they were having some kind of program there that day. And there were a couple of young people on Cutler University campus and stuff. And I'm telling you, the only thing they were talking about, CPP. Oh, you're wearing Mr. Cummings stuff. You ain't talked to us yet, son. I went there to talk to them and stuff. They already knew all about Mr. Cummings. I'm telling you, all about Mr. Cummings. So there is a trend here of young people and women that's following Mr. Cummings. And that's the base that we'll continue to tap into to see how best we can build upon that going into the general elections.
Great. Sure. Linford?
Well, I want to start by making this announcement. We will be taking some phone calls, and we'll be having a phone number displayed after the 1 hour mark. We're like 17 more minutes to make it 1 hour, and we'll be when it's 1 hour, will be another 30 more minutes. So we'll be putting out or displaying the telephone number to call. But Madam Quick, let me ask you this question. If there was one thing that you think the CPP has not done that you wanted to do to give them advantage in this pending elections, what would be that one thing?
Well, I think I want to say some lessons learned from maybe 2017. One thing we need to do, we need to begin to identify maybe 2-3 persons per polling place to watch our votes, because this is critical. That's something we need to do that we didn't do in 2017, and perhaps that may have reduced our votes, because you have places that you can even motorbikes can reach there. When I'm in a Todi area, sometimes I have to get down. Even motorbike can reach. I have to walk, because when you're on a bike, then you find yourself. Sometimes if you look at my body, you'll see that the grass cutting my body and other things because of the road condition and thing. So we need to put measures in place to man our votes. We need to do that. We need to continue to encourage our people. We need to continue to engage the people. Like for example, I will now call neighbor. I have some United Party young people who are behind me. Oma, you need to bring a paper. Let him come talk to all. The beginner, they just sitting down, they just waiting. They just want a paper to talk to him. So yes, Mr. Cummings, we need to take him out more and more. I know it is challenging sometimes. I feel for him because I'm in the same situation. I'm running in the biggest county, and I know what I'm going through. I know how people want to see me everywhere. I'm on a show. At least I have gotten 2 calls. People, oh my, you want to come to my place? You want to come here? Oh my, I got people here. You have to come talk to them. Oh my, we have to replace this man. This is the same thing Mr. Cummings is going through. But we have to make more time. We have to make more time that he engage more the people.
Okay. Just before I go to Mark, there is this thing about everybody, all of the politicians or aspirants, especially the presidential aspirants. They all are bundled in Monrovia. Some of them not even doing anything. They feel entitled, and the votes in Monrovia is like, it doesn't really belong to anybody. It will only belong to the last person who will work very hard to the last minute. Okay, so in other words, just to give example, Mr. Cummings could turn out here today or early campus and you see massive crowd. In West Point, you see massive crowd. As soon as he leaves, if Jaron Gongolo goes there, you see the same crowd coming because it's the same people. Okay, but then that interprets to anybody that you have to work harder because it's the same people you're working among. But where the vote lies is the deeper part of the interior, because when you go to those places and you talk to the chiefs got correct and direct influence over their people, like in a village. So how much work is a ANC or CPP doing in the interior part of
in that case, then you want us to say our strategy on this radio for people to steal it. But what I want to, you want us to say our strategy here for people to steal it and do it.
And start using it against them.
We can't do that.
And we're not do that. We're not do that. We're not say our strategies here. But what I want to tell you is that yes, in some cases they are the same crowd. But in the case of CPP, you will get an example in few days, and they say they're going to carry their VSB to Nima. Watch and see whether the same crowd that King Osa for us, whether it will be the same crowd. Watch and see. In Monrovia here in Mosorado has most of the votes here. In this country, anybody who can get 35% of the registered voters here and get small from other places, you will win the elections. But I will tell you that I am running, so I got interest in the kind of people we are meeting. I got interest in knowing what are the people in Mosorado, those crowds that will come outside, whether they are registered in Mosorado. So I'm telling you that most of the people that come out for Mr. Cummings, they are not fake. They mean they want change in this country. They want change, and that person is Mr. Cummings. The last time I went down with us, I went there. Sometimes I can just want to go walk up ball, just sit down, disguise myself, and just sit with the people in the market and just talk. The women, they got their different songs. They will just sit inside their market and be singing their different songs. And when you ask them, what kind of song you singing? You say, man, we can't sit down whole day, and you come to the market, and people say you listen. But we can sit down whole day, we can't get something. Can you imagine? I went to buy pepper from a woman. I bought 300 Liberty Pepe and the woman were dancing that day to say that this was her first money. Thank God she will be able to put dry rice on a table for her children.
Great.
This is the country we are living in.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm just saying that the people are suffering and they know who can lift our country from where it is. The cry, I'm not saying other cry will not be fake. Yeah, there can be people who walking on the side when they see cry, they follow. But in the case of Mr. Cummings and the cry you see, they are committed to the CPP. And we are ensuring that these people are registered voters.
Great. So yeah, called the answer short because of time. And Brother Mark, you want to come in?
Yeah, I want to say this, and I'm going to repeat it on, many occasions, right? To those critics that say, oh, Cummings doesn't have the number, or the CCP doesn't have the numbers, right? Or the ANC. Let us go into history now. I think Duke here, or a few of you guys are going to agree. When was the ANC birth? Okay, let's say we're in a space of 7 years, right? And this party within a space of 7 years has gone from the least to one of the most talked about political party. This tells you that Mr. Cummings is no joke. This is a man who can turn a impoverished institution to a successful institution. How many people knew about ANC a couple of years ago? Now you got the whole country talking about ANC. You got people in the diaspora from Australia to Europe to South America to North America to Asia, and you name it. It tells you the kind of workaholic Mr. Cummings is. If he can turn ANC a couple of years ago. Now, if we go, let us put a statistic nonsense, 7% or 7, how they call it, say, blah, 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 let us put it aside. If you go to do a new statistic now, you'll find out ANC either first place or second place, including the silent voters. So this should tell people that this man is no joke. He's somebody who can turn things around overnight. Like some people will call themselves, say they are farmer, right? But a skillful farmer, you get him one cassava stick. You'll make a farm out of that one cassava stick. That's a skillful farmer. Like my grandfather said, they got many people who can sing, many people who can tell story. But the one who will tell the story and take the sleep from the people out, that's a good storyteller. But you find plenty of people that will come out who can tell story, right? And this is who Mr. Cummings is. He's a workaholic. This man has turned ANC overnight, okay? Just in 5 years' time. So think about what ANC going to be, and all these things of, people not being stationary when it comes to being political party membership, right? Just watch after ANC this election, if the CCP secure this presidency, you're going to find people running from one political party, all that thing going to come to an end, Paul. We'll have stability when it comes to how people think, how people stick towards political party, people membership, all those things going to change. Mr. Cummings is the new idea, and that is why the old, how they call it, say, established group of Capitol Hill crooks, they don't want this man around because he's the last bus stop. You understand? So that's what I wanted to add.
Okay.
Well, so
Quickly, Paul, we'll be going to the phone line at exactly 8 o'clock Liberian time. But just before Paul chime in, there is this one question because time may just take it away from us. You are running as aspiring for senatorial seat on the CPP ticket in Montserrat County. Now, you are a female, and we understand that on Thursday of last week, there was a memorandum of understanding, if we should call it that, between the NEC and all political parties. I don't know how many political parties there are now, maybe 24, 25 of them in Liberia now, that at least 30% of their slot, both in the lower and upper houses, must be allocated to women. to create a kind of gender balance. And if this indeed works out, and if it is signed and the political parties, including your CPP, abide by it, what advantage does it give you as a female aspirant? Do you think it adds any value to your efforts?
Yeah. First of all, let me say again, congratulations to myself. It was a good fight.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a good fight.
I just want to throw the joke in. Victoria General laser. You know, my grandpa said the laser the only animal when it fall down from way up.
Can do it.
When
Yeah,
nobody see it, the laser can shake. Congratulations, so Victoria.
I do it.
yeah. Let's like I say, yeah, I did it. I did it. Yeah, yes, so what we did, first of all, even before we were discussing the section 4.5 of the new election law that talked about every political party shall not less than 30% gender and not less than 30% and 70% gender present the listing of its candidates to NEC. Because we had in the election law before endeavor to ensure, so the women were fighting for the SHA to be there. Unfortunately for us, the president had that bill has not been passed. There were politics play with it. The houses said they had sent it to the president. On Women International, the president said it had not reached his desk. After it reached his desk, he vetoed some lands. They play politics with it, and up to today, it has not been passed. But what we did in the CPP, and this is why I tell people, CPP is my home. What we did in the CPP, when you look at the CPP framework document, we were careful, we were intentional, and you will look at it that the men in the CPP were even pushing for us to have a plot in the CPP framework document that talk about CPP will ensure that not less than 30% women, if I didn't say gender as it is in the election law, CPP said we will ensure that not less than 30% women will be on our party tickets this 2023 election and moving forward. You know, I argue the election law, it was tricky and funny. They say you shall, but then if you don't do it, what will happen to you? In the election law, it says political party will pay 10,000 United States dollar as fine. 10,000 United States dollar. A party like CPP, a party like United Party or the CDC, though they say that the women sit down there will pay the 10,000 fine. Well, the CPP was intentional. The CPP knows very well that women are very important in society. And this is why we stay sitting, even at the highest level, we are asking our political leader to choose a woman. To choose a woman as his running mate. We are still standing by. So even before that, yes, we want to say congratulations because of the way they play with the new election law. It has not been passed. We have to go by the 01, NEC, UN Women, and other people came together to say, let's have a memorandum of understanding. But yet and still, yeah, this is a memorandum of understanding. If I don't do it, what will happen? Nothing comes out of it. But at least CPP is ensuring, and just from the convention, the 43, I think more than 10 women were already named. All of the 43 that were named, that were endorsed during the convention, more than 10 are already endorsed. And we're looking forward to the remaining ones. You still have more than 70 or 80 more to go. So we look forward to more of that.
Great. We look forward to more of that. I think we still have technical problem in Liberia, and one of our Facebook page actually did something, so you may not see the number on here. But if you follow us on the other page,
YouTube, yeah, we
there's
on the other side.
215 there, so it's not
Right.
playing. So we'll sort that out later. I want to ask Duke this question though
Mhm.
before we go to the phone line. Duke, uh, our president George Weah and Mr. Alexander Cummings, the both of them have a competing story. Weah conquered the world with his talent, and Mr. Cummings also conquered the world with his brain. Why is it people in Liberia find it's
Why
difficult
are
for
you
the
saying his talent?
you
Say
I'll
his
say
foot. His foot. No, his foot.
it's
Not
foot.
his
All
talent.
right.
His foot.
And
The
the
other man
one with
used, yeah, the other man used his foot. The other man used the brain.
the other man used to be the one with the brain because the competing story is there and they both came from similar community. So why is it in Liberia people finding it so difficult to understand that Mr. Comey is one of his kind? You don't find many people like that from around the world. Even people from India and other places, you don't find it. Somebody who came from Liberia does not have an accent. He managed to get up there. What people in Liberia cannot see. And on the ground when you're there talking to people, is that something that people not resonating to? You want to
Well,
talk to us?
Paul, I wouldn't want to say people are not saying it. I think in politics, you have a group of people who are focused on propaganda. The job is
Right.
to try to dispel the truth, right? So they will do everything to make it appear as if people are not paying attention. I think people are paying attention. That's the bottom line. Truthfully speaking,
Right.
people know who Mr. Cummings is. If they did not understand what we meant by George Weah used his foot, and he should have stuck with playing football or probably at the LFA. They know that now because of the economic conditions. I had a conversation with somebody last night after the show, and what we talked about is this. It's like, well, it seems like the conversations now is all about the opposition. You guys are just on the UP thing back and forth, and it seems like CDC is just a distant memory. I said, well, it's true because that's what happened in Liberia. The people there are completely tired with the George Weah administration. And you can clearly tell that they have had enough. They're just waiting to just, leave from the nightmare they're currently living. But I think people understand who Mr. Cummings is. They've bought into Mr. Cummings. If they didn't understand who Mr. Cummings is, you would not have seen that kind of dominance by the CPP in the last, election that they have, especially Montserrat and other parts. You know, if they didn't understand who Mr. Cummings, is, they wouldn't be spending the time on propaganda and attacking everything and pushing stories out there, right? When you
Right.
have to actually take away from your campaign and telling the people how you will govern them and focus on one man, it tells you to know who he is. What scares them is being that they understand what he is and who he is, they're playing this game where they're trying to figure out what is his next move. And they have not been able to catch up to his next move because if you saw in the CPP, they tried to come up with all these gimmicks and they didn't succeed. After the CPP, when they exited, they still came back trying to use Jean Kanga and the Liberty Party to get the aims and objectives accomplished. It still did not work. Then again, during the nomination period, you could see that the system is working against everything changing in that country. They still went ahead and found a way to get Young Kanga back on the side. But there was something important today. I hope you guys did not miss it. And I think it validates the message that we're pushing and why it is important for people to start seeing the value in this fight. So today, I'm sitting down, 1 second, and I see a live stream. And you see, they said staffers of legislative staffers, dancing, welcoming Yumli. And then they went into this room, and there's a bunch of people saying that they're endorsing Jeremiah Cohn and Joseph Boyka. What was really interesting to me in that, and it ties into your comment about people know who Mr. Cummings is and the system is just fighting, it shows that those who can only function in the system as it is sees Mr. Cummings as a major threat. And so they're going to the length to push this person, this image, right? That Mr. Cummings is totally against, right? What they've stood for all along, all of the wrong things. And they will do everything in their capacity to form a union that is strong enough amongst them to oppose what we see as change. So they know who Cummings is. They understand that man leadership. They saw how he actually fought them with education, with his poise, being calculative in the CPP, and he beat them at the game. They saw that when the true propaganda at him, he still thrived under those conditions, and he was able to actually lead his people. So to know him is just a matter of time in October when we finally see that Mr. Cummings got a base of voters that's going to go ahead and actually make him the next president of Liberia.
Great.
And Brother Paul, just to add on what Duke said, it is sometimes laughable when I go on the social media and I hear people attacking and say, "Oh, Cummings doesn't have no policy." So I'm like, okay. First of all, you're talking about the man national security policy, the man economic policy, the man foreign policy, the man infrastructure policy, the man immigration policy. By the time he finished putting all those policies together, you know how many millions of words you're talking about? You know how many volumes of books you're talking about? I'm like, if you know about politics, then you won't even be questioning that the man cannot put his policy outside, because you're talking about volumes. If they're going to be collated into books, you're talking about volumes of books. And how many people are going to read that? So there's nowhere a politician will come out and say, "Oh yeah, they put their policy." You know how many years that person going to take to write all those documentation? Just to add on to what my brother is saying.
Yeah, but since you went into the policy thing and stuff, let me say this. If people from the Unity Party or those who support Joseph Boyka wants to talk about policy, that's a conversation I would love to have all day. Because can it show us where the policies that Joseph Boyka created and implemented in Liberia? What policies can they show us? I went to the Ministry of Finance and I blame the current government and some of these individuals who are on Facebook. The Ministry of Finance is still using 5 cabinets, right, for record keeping. This is in this age of globalization, wherein financial institutions and structures have digitized the record and they have compliance. Let me tell you, let me give people some level of practicality. In America here, in the financial sector, in the investment sector, right, we have a compliance process. You cannot take documents and just keep it in 5 cabinets. Right? What needs to be electronic has its own process. Even if you have something for record keeping sit, right? There's a certain way that is stored, and you have the state regulators that come in surprisingly to you, right? To check those things. So when you're falling out of compliance, is a problem. What I'm saying though is that if you want to make this about policies and what Mr. Cummings something, we can have the conversation. That's what I want. But the truth here is they don't have the muscles to discuss that, because what are we facing now? We're facing a country that since 43 years of governance under the vice president is still lacking sufficient policies to digitize, right, our financial records in that country. So I wouldn't waste my time on it. But if they want to have that conversation, that's what we want to have. We want to have this policy conversation and see who got the best policy and who's better suited to lead, Joseph Boyka or Alexander Cummings. I want to talk about it.
Great.
Okay. I think
I know the guys in Monrovia are having technical issue, so we're just gonna flow. And those in the diaspora that are following us, if they want to call, there's a WhatsApp number displayed there. You can call and have your say here. We have Madam Kukwe, who is the incoming senator of Montserrat County. You need to tell us how are you going to beat Sir Joseph and the other men that running against you?
Look, this thing is easy. The government has failed us. Sir Joseph has failed us. We elected him to make good laws for us, laws that will improve the lives of the Liberian people, especially the people of Montserrat County. We elected him to have oversight over the government. We elected him to adequately represent us. But we see that he doesn't know what we are going through. So for this reason, he's not representing us. He cannot checkmate this government. Imagine, Sir Joseph is the sitting chair on executive. He's not able to even negotiate with the government to ensure that budgets are appropriately allocated to especially the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Youth and Sports. You got a lot of young people all around here. They don't have jobs. They are hopeless. And they just pass around. This is the city lawmaker. He has turned himself instead into a minister of public works, the ministry that he should have oversight over. checkmating them and asking them why we do not have roads, why we do not have, especially the market to farm roads. This is a lawmaker who has turned himself to the Minister of Health, whereas he should be checkmating this ministry. He should be supporting this ministry. He should be offering policies that will improve our health sector. But instead, we have pregnant women who are dying on motorbikes. And I will explain the story to you. Perhaps Mr. Cummings has forgotten. We went to Cape Mount on a county tour. We got to Kinjor, I think it is Kinjor. The people were crying. The town was quiet. And Mr. Cummings asked me, Victoria, what is going on? I said, let me go check, Chief. I went to ask the people only to tell us that a woman died on a motorbike while they were taking her to give birth when she was in pain. Mr. Cummings cried like a baby. Mr. Cummings cried like a baby. I'm repeating, Mr. Cummings cried like a baby. I could hear it. And Mr. Cummings, nothing we could do that day. We cannot accept this happening in our country, where you have the legislature sitting there and doing nothing. Especially, and this is why we want to represent our people in Montserrado, the biggest county, because if Montserrado is positively affected, the entire country will be affected positively. So he has done nothing for us. Instead he's getting rich, all of us. Every day he's richer than Montserrado. He sat on a platform on Spoon and said he has a university that will be taking 3,000 students. But where are you? The children we're supposed to build their foundation, they do not have schools. So what are the policies he's putting forth for government to implement and ensure that our children get good learning environment? What is he doing? You go to those communities, you see the children, they will sit on blocks. Some of them sit on the ground to learn.
So, Sis Victoria, we have
Brother Paul.
We have a caller.
Okay.
I told the caller to hang out to call back because he's calling from Liberia. Viewers
Yeah.
and listeners, you see the number displayed on your screen. That's a WhatsApp number. So you can call us directly either from Liberia or anywhere around the world and make your contribution. And the caller that was just calling, if you stay there and listening to us, you can place in your call. But Brother Mark, you can come in.
I want to ask Victoria a question, but I guess she's off the line.
Oh, she's on.
Okay. My question to you, Victoria, as someone who want to go in the legislature, right? Can you name one or two occasions where you and Mr. Cummings has disagreed on something? Wow. And what was that?
No, really, I would not want to say some of the things because in meetings, some of the times, we disagree to agree. Sometimes Mr. Cummings come with his idea that we should implement. Some of the policy issue, we talk about them. Sometimes financial management issue, because that also my area. I have worked in the NGO sector for more than 20 years. So my expertise is grants management. So when it comes to managing money, we know that one day. And when it comes to looking for the money, resource mobilization, we know that one day. So yes, Mr. Cummings and myself, we have disagreed on occasion, and later we will agree. He has to convince me why I should agree. I know even recently, maybe the morning before we went to Ganta, he had to tell me, look, Vic, he had to justify why we should accept what was going on, but he felt that yes, I was saying the right thing, but we will try to fix it along the way. And I remember Mr. Cummings has tapped my back. He tapped my back and he said, Victoria, I will not be surprised that when you are senator and I'm president, you will call me one day, you'll put a communication on the floor one day to ask me question. Yes, I stand and people ask me this question: will you be on a party mandate or you will be representing your people? I tell people I am going to represent the people of Montserrat and the people of Liberia at large. Yes, I will be on a party mandate when Mr. Cummings is doing the right thing. If he's not doing the right thing, I'm going to checkmate him. I'm going to tell him, Mr. President, this is not what we elected you for. And fortunately for us, I see that leadership ability in Mr. Cummings, who listens to people. He listens to everybody and he make a decision. He tried to talk to you and say, look, this is the reason why we should make this decision. And this is the reason why we should go this way. This is the kind of leader we have. And this is the kind of leader I'm following. I'm not following a leader who will dictate to me. And Mr. Cummings is not that person. So yes, Mr. Cummings and myself, we had differed on so many occasions. I have won him at some point. He has won me at some point. We argue, we convince one another, say, look, and sometimes he agrees with me. In fact, most of the time he agrees with me.
We got a caller, right?
Thanks a lot. And from Liberia, we have a caller. Caller, please tell us your name. Caller, are you there?
Oh.
He's reconnecting. And this is the Liberia we're talking about, right? This is the... okay, caller, are you there?
Yeah, are you getting me?
Yeah. Tell us your name and...
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Kefalaki Kamara. I call you from district number 10. I listened and been following the show. And let me speak specifically to the issue of Senator Joseph. Sometimes as a lawmaker, the first thing you have to understand your function as it relates to his own university. My question is, when was the last time that Sir Joseph, through the budget, advocated for budgetary allotment to state-run university? There is no record of that because he does not understand the function. As a lawmaker, you should show that the system should be set aside where institution will benefit. But where you are so keen about improving your private property, then it shows how selfish you are. Today, if you went to the University of Liberia, I mean, those basic things that all universities around Africa can boast of, you can't find it there. Let me speak to the issue of health. During the 2014 Ebola, we all saw Honorable Joseph here, Ebola you. He brought doctors and nurses from the United States and they came here. After the 2014, what did the senator do to ensure that government allot money to various health centers across the country? He did not do that because his intent is to get personal promotion. His intent is not actually to help alleviate the current health problem the people are faced with. So that is deception. And that's the reason we want people like Madam Kugwe who understand what it takes for a system to work instead of individual using the system at their advantage. The issue of transportation, now Honorable Joseph goes around here with the yellow buses. One of the last time he called on the managing director of NTA to come and answer a question as to why the NTA buses are not being effective. He's not here because he's undermining government revenue generation. He put his buses on the road, and those buses, they generate money, and he uses those money to fund his private project. So this is a deception. It has reached the point where we think we have to give him the exit door, let him go and manage his properties. Okay. So Mr. Cummings, for me, on record, I supported and campaigned for BRCA 2017. Today, I'm supporting Mr. Cummings. People feel political numbers are Antifa that are kept in the museum. So when you went there, now if I went to executive pavilion and asked you what car Tubman used to use, they will show me it. But political numbers are not like that. They are perishable. It depends how well you preserve it. Today, you have people like George Whistler. You have people like Madame Coco, she just admitted. You have people like Louis Brown. So are you telling me that this is not political dividend? If you get a record at the fire, it shows the law is wrong. But to conclude, We saw 19 senators endorsing Joseph Boakai 2017. He kept on. And even in the run against President Weah, he won only one out of the 15 counties. So I asked, out of the 19 senators, you have up to 5 or 6 from the best county. Five, it's a problem. So I need to understand those things, stage managing. Mr. Kumi represent the real change. People are going to the mother with the necessary forces. This country must be changed, even when the establishment try to fight against it. We are very clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kamara there from Monrovia. And so, if you just joining us, this is the bottom line. We are coming to you directly from Europe, and we've been on Red Power FM in Liberia for some time. I mean, this evening, but unfortunately, I don't know, because of internet problem or whatever, we have that technical problem and we are not on anymore, but we are here. And we also apologize that one of our main Facebook pages is down with problem from StreamYard. But on the other one, we are streaming live and we have over 200 plus from what I see. And if I switch to the other one, when I switched there, I saw some other number. And so, Madam Kwekwe is our studio guest here, along with Duke Estrada JJ. I call him the tough talking man. He's also a guest panelist. He pops in whenever we need him or whenever he wants to come. And so we have Mark Farr from Sweden as a panelist, and Paul the Lord Chilipli from England, and here in Norway, Linford Goa. So in the next 9 minutes, we'll be wrapping up. So, Madam Kwekwe, finally, from our side.
Yes. Look, you know, Kaifala, you know, Duke said, you know, sometimes you get thoughts from people. Look, Kaifala said something.
Do you know him?
Kaifala is one of the young men that is supporting Mr. Cummings. Yes.
Okay.
Kaifala said something. During the Ebola, Senator Sir Joseph said he's Ebola hero. Because of that, the people elected him. But let me tell you, during the Ebola, I was working with International, and we worked hard. We were leading business development efforts. We worked hard to raise at least 10 million, my organization. I'm not talking about other organizations. There are over 20 international organizations that are in this country. I'm not talking about what they raise. I'm talking about what plan international raise. We raised this money to buttress the Ministry of Health and MPhil, the government in general. So some of those monies were distributed to give to Sir Joseph and to pick up ballots in the streets. But let me tell you, what I want to push here is Senator Sir Joseph doing the Ebola work very closely with the Ministry of Health and MPhil. He saw some of the lapses in the Ministry of Health. Now, after Ebola, what has he done as a senator? But before becoming senator as a representative, what have you done? Have you looked at the act that created the Ministry of Health to understand what are the issues that the Ministry of Health is facing? What policies can we put forth? Do we need to allocate budget to the Ministry of Health? Do we need to amend the act that created them so that we'll be able to support them? The answer is no. Instead, you go to America, you bring gloves, you say, then you sit on a radio, you boast of it when those things are not sustainable. We are talking about the system working for every single Liberian. We are not talking about you coming to him, just go to America, bring gloves and distribute it to hospitals, and when those gloves are finished, you have no gloves in the hospital. At one point, nurses were protesting in this country because they didn't have gloves in the hospitals. So what can you do to sustain the hospitals, to sustain that they will have gloves at all times, to sustain the hospitals that they will have paracetamol? You go to JFK right here, people sit in a wheelchair. Some of them, unfortunately, they will pass. they don't have beds in the hospital. And you sit on a national radio as a senator to say you're building a hospital? Is that right? The ones you got, you cannot even sustain them. And you want to sit and boast that I can go to America, I bring 40 container, I bring this and I distribute this. They are not sustainable. We want a system to work for every single Liberian. And this is why I sit here and say, in Akumi's government, that will not work. Victoria sitting in Akumi's government, that will not work. We will advocate for the right budget for government line agency, especially the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education. We need to support them. And when we support them, we need to ensure that those projects are implemented fully. You cannot allocate budget to a ministry where you disburse the money to the ministry and the beneficiaries are not benefiting. We just listen to, we just look at the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador press release. People are saying the government released the money to the ministry, but yeah, the ambassador said, yeah, the money is released to the ministry, but the beneficiaries, did they receive the money? Did they benefit from the money that were disbursed to those ministries? So what is the government doing? By now, we should be hearing by now, Sir Joseph is supposed to be on his feet, see his government, to ensure that investigation is launched into that issue. But he's not talking. He's only here passing around, distributing money to people to buy votes.
Mana
But this time around,
before we finish, Mana Kokwe, I know it's campaign time, and you just talk about money. And I see something that is training that the CDC government using. I want you to speak on it briefly before. And this, look at this picture. This is the newly printed money, and these guys are distributing this money to people. So you talk about money, and this is where we know in the last election you had when Darren Dillon running against Thomas Fala, they used money. He became the ATM. It started again. New money has now been circulated into the country. People are giving it out. And with the kind of campaign you're running, do you have money equal to this guy to beat Sir Joseph? Because you talk about money, they're giving money to people. They're buying votes. What your take on that?
Look, we have integrity. We are not going to buy vote. We're going to tell the people why we want to represent them. That's what that is the message we are carrying. We're going to tell the people that this government has failed, especially the senator has failed our country. So we're not going to buy vote. But let me tell you, let me tell you this. They did it in 2020. They wasted money. Thomas Fala was standing and distributing money and giving people money, the 500 notes, giving it to people. Recently in Chikisu Factory, I was invited there at their program, their induction program. They had community leadership induction. And Sir Joseph was supposed to serve as guest speaker. Unfortunately, he didn't come soon until they announced another person to serve as guest speaker. But because we were there, some of his supporters told him that, look, if you don't come, this woman will steal the show. He came. Unfortunately for him, he came, he spoke Tabata. He told the community people, he said, this is election year. Politicians will be coming. You open your account. So when they come, they get your money, you put it there.
Right.
Is that the kind of senator you want to have? A senator who's supposed to be ensuring that your lives are improved? That even when politicians come with money, you will tell them, say, carry your money back. He's telling you to open an account so that you can take money from politicians. This is the senator we're talking about.
Right.
So, but we are not going to buy vote. We are going to follow the democratic process. We're going to campaign from house to house, from door to door, telling the Liberian people why we should be elected. And in Akumi's government, we will see the change. We will tell the people why we should be elected.
Right. Wow, that is the powerful Madam Kwekwe who's going to beat Sir Joseph, and she's very confident that this is going to happen under the Cummings government. And we can see that we see the passion in her. She have the momentum, and we pray that you keep that momentum up. And I guess women, when they put their mind to something, they do it to the best of their ability. And I can see that passion in
True,
you. So
true.
Dougal, I know Manakoko will leave us soon. We can spend another maybe 15 more minutes to have this conversation. If you don't mind, man, you can be with all. We can have that because we off the radio now. They're now on again, so we can flow. We got a lot of people following. We got about 200 people watching us at the moment, 205. So they want to hear
Oh,
from you, and they want to hear from Brother Mark too. And Duke, you're on a platform yesterday. The crossfire is that the cross argument something or crossfire?
Yeah, that's the closing
For the
argument.
closing
Actually,
argument.
I actually
And
have, yeah.
oh,
it just happened that I got to watch it late and I saw do against two Europeans. He was alone. One of the panelists was strong unity partisan and they went after him, but he took shot of them. So Duke, talk to us.
Yeah.
How was your closing argument yesterday? Give us some of the
and
things
you close
that
it.
yeah.
When
Well,
did the argument begin and you close it?
I think the argument started with Spoon TV and the corrupt
I
CEO.
know.
All right, and so the close. But look, I'm actually born for this. I grew up in a political, family. In my personal career, talking is what I do. And so I'm very comfortable in having these conversations, especially the facts. I think it was an opportunity to, broaden the conversation about Mr. Cummings. One of the things that I enjoy doing is talking practical economics and Cummings vision for Liberia, because it is something that comes naturally and is something that we see from a different perspective. And so every opportunity we get to educate people, that's it. But look, I tell anybody from the ANC, talking to people in the Unity Party and CDC, those guys have to defend the record. And the record that they have, does not serve them well. And that's what, the conversation was about. How can we see change in a man who's been in governance for 43 years? Somebody's telling us that they were able to build an economy when they sat in position of authority as a public official and millions of dollars and did not effectuate change. So the logic behind that is still beats my mind, but I think this is a great opportunity that we have as supporters of Mr. Cummings to be able to broaden the conversation and making sure that we're in depth when it comes to the facts, about governance, about Mr. Cummings and those people who seek to change the country or who seek leadership in the country.
So before Brother Mark come in, you said something on our program yesterday. You had documentation on the former vice president. I think you got it from the State Department or some. You want to
Yeah,
talk to us?
yeah, yeah. So it's funny tonight. Actually in about 15, 20 minutes, I have a team. We're gonna be dissecting that document a little more in depth and actually bring it out, unearthing some things that people have not. One of my biggest disappointment is that the media in Liberia, they don't do a good job at doing investigative journalism and bringing the facts to the people. And sometimes these things are there. You have to tell the people exactly the truth. So what happened is that the late Senator Ted Kennedy had requested an investigation into the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation, Ministry of Agriculture, the government of Liberia overall, because the United States believed at that time that they invested so much money into government, and so it felt that the monies that they poured in, was not being used for the right reasons, and they had evidences to believe that it was being redirected to either officials of government or personal businesses and for other means. In that case, when the vice president, had a project running that some of those funds was actually funded through. So what that document is, it is actually a detailed report of the United States findings, and confirmation that there was embezzlement, and the list of time period in which the former vice president was actually in charge of LPMC, the Ministry of Agriculture as well. Interestingly, it also sides with the termination by Doe. So we kind of gathered that it was possibly because of the United States decision to investigate and the pressure from the international partners that he was actually terminated by Doe as well. But it brings to the forefront this issue of corruption and something that has been in the DNA of the vice president. That's the conversation I brought about, and I was actually educating people about yesterday.
Okay. Mark?
I just this information. I just want to share this. Quality News TV has just informed me that they are sharing this. They have shared this program. It's live on their page too, so people are watching from there too.
Okay, thank you.
When it comes to, I've been following Duke, and first of all, when it started with this alleged of a criminal that I don't want to call his name, but I saw, this thing coming from a long distance that one day the fellow gonna get himself into trouble, be it in Liberia or in the U.S., because he was too clean to be to not be a rat. You understand? So I saw this coming, and then two, for this fellow to go after somebody who has worked hard, like Mr. Cummings, trying to drag Mr. Cummings into the mud. And Mr. Cummings is small, right? But he has a skin like an elephant. So he doesn't have a thin skin that whosoever comes from anywhere want to talk about him. People have to talk about Mr. Cummings because he is the new king in town. He's the new elephant in town. He's the new lion in town. It's like a commentator, a sport commentator that doesn't talk about Ronaldo or Messi. You can't be so. Nobody listen to you. So people have to talk about Mr. Cummings one way or the other. But the same people that will say, oh, he's nobody. But at the same time, he's nobody. You want him to go as Joseph Boakai vice president. So how can somebody who is nobody and you want him to go as Joseph Boakai vice president? Are you listening to yourself? You understand? And then two, here is a man who will spend his time on his network talking about other people, investment, corruption, and X, Y, Z. But why can't we talk about you yourself as a transparent person? Why can't we talk about you? So once in a while, when we got less basic, we go to the station just for what we call local gossip, but not to say anything tangible come from that person that we take seriously. Because it says, show me your friend, I will know who you are. You understand? So this man, there is nothing we should give credence to about how to promote, Mr. Cummings. Let them keep here in the Eugene Fagon. Let them keep, the same Eugene Fagon yesterday. There are tons of video out there what he didn't say about Joseph Boakai. Like the other fellow that got disappointed, why he didn't say about Joseph Boakai. The thing about Omer Boakai, there are certain things that I'm not going to put out there because he's a respected old man, right? But there are some damaging things that we heard about Omer. Even this guy who in America they call Sakor. Why that guy ran from Europe here, he moved to America. The Russian looking for him, that's why he ran from Europe here and went to America. And Omer Joe know one of the reasons. So there are a lot of things we can't say, but let they keep going after Mr. Cummings. Mr. Cummings is clean. The FBI never chased Mr. Cummings out of America. The CIA never looked for Mr. Cummings. No security apparatus look for Mr. Cummings. But you, right in America, you little rat, you won't compare yourself with Mr. Cummings, and there you are. You're like a chicken now in a cage. You can't move anywhere without somebody, sending even a cat can scare the chicken. That's how you are now.
Or cat can scare the chicken.
Just to add on, let me say this, Paul, real quick, and you go for it. If you think that you're going to use your machinery to attack Mr. Cummings, you're making a mistake. You're not more sophisticated than us. You're not a loud talker than some of us. Eugene Fagon, you're threading on the wrong path, because if I were you, you would keep quiet. I said this before on the show before Stanton Witherspoon went down. And I'll say this on the bottom line. Eugene Fagon, this is a direct message to you from me. If you don't want any further troubles, continue to do what you're doing. Because whenever I speak, there's a trick under my sleeve, and I will personally come after you. And when I come after you, it will be the end of you. Just as I warned Stan Witherspoon, I will tell you this again. If you continue to spew rubbish, if you continue to say things, I'm not saying Mr. Cummings is a public figure, you have all right to say the facts. But if you're coming to be dishonest, if you're coming there with lies, if you're coming with the intention of destroying the character of somebody, I'm telling you, I will spend sleepless nights going after you and exposing you. And when I expose you, you will not like what's coming your way. You know, you know, Paul, a lot of these people are empty talkers. When Stan Witherspoon began to go after Mr. Cummings, I would laugh all the time. And I said, you know what? Some of these people don't know what they're playing with. We knew all along, I knew all along that Stan Witherspoon was a shady character. I knew all along that Stan Witherspoon had a lot of skeletons in his closet. What he's doing now, he understands he's going away for a long time. So there's the bitterness that's in him, and he's dragging all along everybody. I have enough evidence to believe that some of the people who are still on that platform, they have to stay there because he has actually done some things that will compromise their integrity, that will actually expose them and actually embarrass them in public. So they have to be said. And I'm not going to call names, but Stan Witherspoon, you see, the man is a crook. What he did was a lot of them, he baited them, he set them up, and he has a lot of things in the possession that they would not make the decision to leave him. So if you see people stuck on that platform, the reason why they can make a decision to leave is because he has them exactly where he's got them. But Eugene Fagon is my personal project. I challenge and I dare Eugene Fagon to continue. He will definitely hear from me pretty soon. That's all I have to say.
And just few seconds, brother Paul. I'm not going to call name, but a lot of you people know there was certain character every now and then. They in contact with the other senator, they in contact with the other lawmaker, they in contact with the other lawmaker. You know what came from some people, some document that went to some lawmakers for which no door can be opened to that character any longer because they were exposed. The lies were exposed, were sent from all around. ANC got a machine that everybody can go to the internet when ANC machine ready. They dig under you. When they dig under you, all doors are closed on you. And you people know the character I'm talking about. So Stanton Witherspoon is making his case in America. For example, when the American government got done with him, oh, you can send me back to Liberia because the government must say we're in problem. That's one of the strategies that crook, that little rat is using.
Wow.
Well,
That crook, that little
We'll
rat.
respond. This is
Wow.
politics. We're at the final stage of this joining. I will not hold back. I will go on attack. You'll see me on multiple shows. You know, today is a chill day. We're talking, but I will tell you, we'll be on every platform. Wednesday, I will be back on the closing argument along with Akara's Great. And you'll hear from it. I will attack the government. I will bring facts. I will bring my own professional expertise. As I speak to you, I have people in the district today, in Akara's Grace district. And I got some surprise for him that will be aired on that show. So you know, we're not joking here. Mr. Cummings invested a lot of time. There are people who have invested the time and resources into making sure we're changing hearts and minds. Let's make this conversation about the issues. But if some of you think that you're the only ones who have monopoly over lying to the people of Liberia and actually maligning people character, well, guess what? We have the skill set and we can be better than you. So that's where we're going to go now. I'm going to get personal with people. I don't care. I walked in Liberia. Nobody can touch me. Trust me. I go to Liberia, you can't touch me. I sit on social media, you can't touch me. What's the most you're going to say? But we'll expose these people and we'll tell the Liberian people why these people should not be trusted. And also, look, let me say this finally here, Paul. You know, they say when the child say he will throw, you already got a rock in his hand. This is from Darius Dillon. You can play the politics you want. You can go ahead and criticize Mr. Cummings. But if at any point in time during this campaign, you become nothing but an imbecile and intentionally disrespect this man when it shouldn't be, I will come for you. And you're another person that I have something on, and I will release it. I don't care what it is. I don't need public jobs in Liberia. But we will protect Mr. Cummings because you know what? He deserves it. You will not look down on somebody that should be a true representation of what we're trying to build in our country and think you will get away. The ANC's tired. We are fed up with it, and we're tired of playing diplomacy. We're coming swinging. We will go after individuals, and yes, it will be personal.
Ha. It will be personal. Before Linford Company, I just want to make a quick announcement to those who following us for the first time. Kindly click on the like button. So when we come on, you are automatically notified. We are kindly asking and also asking to kindly share our platform. We've been around over 2 years now in Europe, and we are also on air in Liberia. We're also on the online Radio, Bottom Line Online Radio. You can download our app on your phone, and then we are 24/7. Linford, chime in.
Well, I just want to say it's fine tonight, and the bottom line is actually getting off the ground. I'm on one of the other Facebook page, and I have 338 follow plus the other side. And this one that we're watching, I only three people, and then that's just one of the ones that we don't lose. But because the other one went up, so we are there. In fact, this one with the three people is not Facebook, it's the YouTube. But
yeah. So guys, I mean, there's something I got a show to be on, and something there in the next about.
I was just about to tell you. Thank you very much, because I know exactly when
before Duke leave, something that is trending around, and I just want you and Fitzgerald to chime in, because people around the world ears like kind of listening now. They're running mate. There's speculation out there about Charlene Bronski, Berson Graffiti, this person, that person. We don't know. We all confused. ANC had a convention, and Mr. Cummings kept people in the dark. People had their hands so propaganda. They say, "Oh, he can't find anyone." What's this? What's this story that's happening? I know, Fitzgerald, you said earlier that Mr. Cummings believe the women, and he must have, and the women been pushing that he must have a woman. The gossip that going around, where the gossip tend to reality, we don't know what's happening. Where are we going? Are we going back to Nima, or we going back to Bon County or Lofa County? Where are we heading for this big announcement?
First of all, let me say this. Yes, somebody.
I would prefer to take a first shot, because instead Duke will be leaving. Then because
okay, let's go.
Yeah. So let me say this, Paul. Like I told you the other day, I wouldn't speculate, and I wouldn't be the one to speak on behalf of the standard bearer. And I think it would be fair, unfair when it comes to the process. What I will say though, I think that every campaign's got its own defining moment.
Yeah,
I will revert to Barack Obama at the Democratic National Convention. That was his defining moment. It propelled him into stardom, right? And made him the face of that movement that finally, took over from Hillary Clinton. I think in Nimba County, there was a defining moment. And whatever that moment turns out to be, that moment is going to possibly determine, right? Where we head in terms of the campaign, in terms of Mr. Cummings being the face of the opposition. But, I remain, firm. I'm a child of Grand Bassa in Lofa County. So my mom is from Lofa County. My grandfather, my family, is from the River Cesare. My dad was born in Maigibi, but the history of my family is in Bassa. But I would say the people of Bassa deserve their moment. Whenever that time will come, is going to be up to what the future holds. But I do believe that it is important that the decisions we make factor into the Bassa Belt, right? And how, right, they too should become part of the national conversations. So there are a lot of rumors. There were news a few weeks ago about Yomli Kanga, right? There were news about this person. We can't really fall into it. But I think whoever Mr. Cummings select as his vice presidential running mate is going to tie into that message of change, and it's going to reawaken the base, reawaken the political party, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, thank you, brother. I know you have to run, so let's Vic chime in here, because yes, everyone just gossiping now. We don't know what's happening. Are we going to Lofa County?
Everyone. So what I can assure you is that I'm not sure Mr. Cummings is going to take his running mate from Lofa, Bong, or Nimba, and I will tell you why he may not choose his running mate from there. Lofa, in Nimba, you have Tiawon running for the presidency. You have Jeremiah Kun has been selected, appointed as running mate. You have the vice president, Joel Howard, in Bone County. You have Ambassador Boaka in Lofa. You also have Clarence Moniba running there. So these county, and I will tell you that for me, I had a personal discussion with him, and I know I think he will not take from those three counties is because Mr. Cummings is a peaceful guy. Don't see him. Mr. People is very peaceful. He doesn't want to put the how do you call it, the citizen here together. Therefore, yeah, let me say it simple English, labyrinth English. You don't want to put the people together. So if you go and choose another running mate from Nimba, you put the Nimba people at loggerhead, they begin to fight one another and other things. So he doesn't want that. In Lofa, the scene, he doesn't want that. But hey, and in Bong, he doesn't want to. Oh, this is one of the reasons that I think he will not choose from those counties. Those counties are not the only counties that leaders will come from.
Right.
Those counties are counties that already have people running. Like for example, you got Lufa, you got 2 persons running for president in Lufa. Why do you want to go cause another confusion in Lufa? In Nima, you got 1 person running for presidency and another person. Why do you want to? Why can you go to a county where they are not represented? So what you look at Magibi, yeah, somebody could be picked from there. You look at Bassa, yeah, somebody could be picked from there. People could be saying yes because this have been going around that Besonga Fide, Yombly, Charlie Broski. Now that Yombly has endorsed Ambassador Barker, meaning automatically her name has been erased from the list. Yes, it is Charlie and Besonga. I'm not saying Besonga is not fit, but we are talking gender equality. I would prefer if these are the 2 people named on his list, I would prefer Charlie. I know people feel that ticket is a bump. If Mr. Cummings will name Charlie is a bump, people running with propaganda, Charlie should not agree. As I sit here, I was looking in my phone. I'm making flower in one chat room. Some women are saying that Charlie should not accept to go as running mate to Mr. Cummings. She still got future. But this is how the men step on women. I remember in Bomi, the lady who is replacing Snow, she wanted to run at the time. But Snow told her, say, give me a chance, let me go. Now he went when he had the opportunity to go to the Senate, then he brought her in. Why will people be stepped on, especially women be stepped on when they have the potential to explore? Then people say, no, that the person waits small, you know. Why is it that the men are not waiting small? So I just want to say that people are afraid so much of this ticket. So they want to use politics to say, oh, she shouldn't agree. They make all of them. I think if Mr. Cummings will take the courage, personally, I am asking Mr. Cummings to choose. And I'm telling you, I'm not just saying it on the radio. I'm in his office, I'm in his ears, I'm in his inbox. I'm asking him. He has the final decision to make, but I am appealing to him to make this choice.
Are you also making recommendations?
Come again?
Are you also recommending somebody?
Who is somebody I'm recommending?
In your discussion with Mr. Cummings and begging to choose lady, are you recommending somebody?
In the beginning, yes, we recommended. We recommended a lot of people. We have, like when Westner were talking about, we had 20 some more persons on the list. Yeah, we recommended people from all over. If I'm not mistaken, even personally, I sent Mr. Cummings there. I said, why can you look this way? Why can you look this way? So all of those people were recommending. All of them were part of the listing. And today it has been reduced to a certain level, and there is a team working on that. I think we have passed that recommendation level now because we have narrowed down. So it's now in the hands of Mr. Cummings to just announce this bomb and let's keep the ball rolling.
Announce the bomb, and that's what we're all waiting for, and we're hoping for this big bomb that will explode Liberia, and that will be the turning point. Mark, you want to say
Yes.
something to Sis Vic before we close out here?
Yeah, I think just to add on to what Sis Victoria is saying that uh, if I would be making that strategic suggestion to Mr. Cummings or advice, I would advise Mr. Cummings. My grandpa said from the day the child tastes the pepper, that the time the child future start. Nobody will wait for you to say, oh yeah, when your hair now get long, yellow matusla before your future start. So Charlene future already started from the day she tasted the bars of people pepper. So choosing Charlene also would be, like Victoria said, a bomb, and it will bring a lot of young women because they're going to see themselves in Charlene. The first place, they're going to have hope that there's hope for them. Because, look, I say this to you, right? Had Joel not been put in a bucket and tied up, Joel would have been a good advocate and a good representation for the WEA administration out there. You understand? And Mr. Cummings is going to make a very, very, if he choose Charlene, he will have a very good representative to the outside world. She's a woman. She's going to get a lot of people to come in to talk to convince, and she's going to be a good ambassador. Second ambassador, because the president is always the first ambassador of the country. The vice president, Charlene, and she got a beautiful smile, her voice, her talking. It's very charming. So, Mr. Cummings, I think it would be a smart move than choosing Besonga Finley. When you are foreign minister, there's a foreign minister that, I mean no disrespect, but there's a foreign minister that barely spoke, that barely said anything to the
Yeah,
country.
but yeah. So the it's yeah. So what? Yeah. So
Victoria,
the both of
Victoria.
them are
Go
good.
ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead for me.
Yes, the both of them are good. So we would prefer. Yeah, we want a woman. She's dynamic. She's powerful. We want her, but all of them they are
Wow.
good. Yeah.
Right. So let me chime in too. I see. Mose on the SKTV always says something which I 100% agree with him, that the country Liberia have the most beautiful women on the planet Earth, and it's featured just a classic one right in front of us. Then comes Charlene Bronski, young, attractive, energetic, charisma, all that. She have that attribute of loyal, all, and she can speak well. Wow. I think if Mr. Cumming watching this show, this is a popular appeal from Butterland. Consider her. So Linford, I'll send it back to you.
Okay. Talking about Charlene Bronstein, um, you know, a couple of weeks ago, or if not a month, we sat on this very platform and we were like, just preempting and trying to microscope some of the names we were hearing. And we did discuss about Noli, Charlie, and the rest of the people. And today, some of those names have dropped out, and Charlie is not yet ruled out. You know, for the fact that we have not heard anything from her, like normally who said, okay, I will not be selected. I don't want to be. I'm going to endorse Joe Boakai. But Charlie is still mute. It says silent, and in Liberia, we say silent means consent. But not, I do not have any record, or any of us that do not have any record to show that she's being consulted or she's being asked. But in the grapevine, and the people who are running with this information, they are not ANC people, CPP people, that CDC and the United Party people. How did they know? Because they say they got ears all over the place. Eugene Fagon opposes that he knows everything. He knows even the food that somebody is eating, and um, I don't like to go personal behind people because I'm always like this. I let it be face to face with people. So I asked Dr. Richardson on spoon to take me on spoon one day. Let me face Eugene Fango. But she said, "Oh yeah, okay, I'll see what to do." So if I sit here and talk about Eugene Fango, it's like I'm just gossiping behind. And my father told me not to do that. Don't talk behind your friend, man. Talk to him straight. So yeah. So I will now, yeah. And I take that seriously. My father told me that. He said, never talk behind your friend, man. So even when I was small, I go somewhere for it, will it be me? I will stay there, I clean myself good before I come home, because when I come home crying, you get me by there, we'll go in after. So, I learned all these things. But on a serious note, I just like to say thank you today for honoring our invitation. It was very impromptu, very short, but this is a true politician that will respond to a quick call. Because I tell you, the position you're in now, you'll be walking, you're coming from cabinet meeting, and you just see group of journalists appear before you. You're not telling them, oh, I'm not ready your way, let me go. No. So as a politician, this is one quality that you should maintain and always be ready to respond to the press. And finally, from my side, I just want to say thank you to you guys and for those of our viewers. And I'm very, very impressed tonight. Our Facebook page is really impressing me, and we hope that we can solve this problem all with the other page. Papa, and I want to say thank you also, and Mark. And this is the silent guy, but he will come with one bomb and just ask one big question, and that question will be like, the head of the nail being banged. But if anything, Paul, you can take us home, and Mike, if you have any final word, and our guest. So for me, I am saying that I'm impressed, and we'll always call on you as long as you are in this race.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to, Six Victoria for not, turning the call down, and we look forward to working with her. And this is the campaign time, and for me, I am strongly in Mr. Cummings' corner. So, and this is the time to disseminate the message as possible as we can. So we're looking forward to getting in contact with you and bringing on people whosoever that you think can help us, because this is the final touch. We are getting to the touch line. It ain't over yet until the battle is over. So we're looking forward to, Paul and Linford are going to get in touch with you. Certain things we can say here now, but we want to have more people as possible because this radio station, Red Power, it reaches, I think, 12 counties. So we're going to use the opportunity the best way possible, and use this Victoria also to have you on as possible as we can, because it's part of the campaign process, so that the people both that don't have the possibility to listen to you in the day, they will listen to you in the night. So it's a pleasure having you on, man, and you have a beautiful night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Before you leave, I think just stay with us for the next few minutes. We'll play some music, and then we can talk behind the scene. I think it'll be important to talk to you before you go. And it's a pleasure having you on the show. The bottom line is open to everybody. Sedition, UPN, no position is open. People can come and make their case. We are here. We're based in Europe. This is the
Imagine
Lord.
we have brought Prophet Key here, two times.
Prophet Key been on the show many times. So this is the bottom line where we discuss and we get to the issue. And sometimes our opinion counts, but it's not factual. At times we can be very factual, but everything is opinionated, and want to have you here again. So I know that you're going to do a great job in Montserrat County when you are elected. I'm not using the word if, because I've been following some of your ground games over there, the door-to-door thing that you guys are doing. I'm very impressed. You don't have the capital and you're going against Yellow Machine. I'm very impressed with you, and we need to talk behind. So on the note, you want to say something to your listening audience before you leave?
Yeah, we want to say, yes, I think this should be an opportunity for me to say this publicly, to say thank you to Mr. Cummings. We talk about women political participation. It was a good fight in the ANC before even going to the CPP. People felt that Victoria is a woman. She cannot go against the ruling party in this big country. This country is too big for her. Let's go find a small district for her to run in for this country. But yes, Mr. Kumi stood his ground that he need a woman. And I want to say thank you to him. I also want to say thank you to Yafa, Councillor Yafa. Councillor Yafa was one of those who spotted me. When Mr. Cummings spotted me because of my inputs in meetings, the kind of way I present my case, he one day called me and told me, say, Victoria, you will make a very good legislature. So I will want you to run. He didn't say a specific place where I should run, but he told me that he thought I would make a very good legislature. And Yafa also reached out to me and told me, look, Victoria, who do you think can run in Montserrado? I called somebody name and he told me, no, I don't want that person. I want a woman to run in Montserrado. And I want that person to begin to talk. So later on, he actually wanted me. But when he said it like that, I didn't understand until Mr. Cummings told me. Then I went back to Yafa and told you, I said, Yafa, then let me run. He said, Victoria, you have just spoken my mind. You need to run. You can make a very good legislator. Now you need to start the ground game. Start your work now. And we started the work. We started appearing on radios. We started going from one community to another. Intellectual centers calling us. So it has been really, really a very good experience. The only thing we don't have is money. You know, some of the community engagement, you have to, sometimes you have to leave cold water money on the table for people. Sometimes you want to do some small rally, you don't have the money. That is the only thing lacking for us. But actually the message is resonating because we actually know why we want to be elected. We actually know what we want to do for our people. We know that we're supposed to be helping the government, even the legislature we will be representing. We're supposed to be helping the legislature to improve the life of the Liberian people. So I just want to say to the Liberian people that this is the time. Let's make up our mind. Let's look the way of Mr. Cummings and myself. Let's have a very beautiful government, a government that will bring job opportunities in our country, bring in investors. You know, you cannot bring investors in a country when you have insecurity in a country. You cannot bring. Nobody wants to come and invest their money in a country where there is no security. No one wants to come and invest in a country where there is massive corruption. You can, when you go to a town and they say this is the most beautiful house, it has bathroom, it has water, it has electricity. But when they tell you that people steal in our house, you don't want to sleep in our house before they steal what you brought. So this is the case with Liberia. The corruption in Liberia, no one wants to come and invest because the outside world is seeing that here every day in the news that corruption is in Liberia and nobody talk about it. The government cares not about it. And we want to say that in a Cummings government, we're going to put stop to corruption. Mr. Cummings says stealing. He said, you get that funny for it. You can cause it corruption, but we're going to put stop to stealing. So we want to tell the Liberian people that Mr. Cummings is the way, and in a Cummings government, there will be life improved. Thank you.
In the Cummings government will be a different government. Great. Thank you, Madam Quay. On this note, to our audience, we'll say thank you for being with us. For those who found on the first time, kindly click on the like button. So we always here every Tuesday and Friday. We on air in Liberia every Tuesday. We're trying to increase the number of days. And so Friday we'll be back here with somebody else. It's good to have you here. So since Mr. Cummings announced, I say on the 27th, he's going to make that big announcement. The global
The
tribe
ball will be center. The ball will be center on the 27th.
And I'm going to play a global music, a global gospel music for Mr. Cummings. What does that mean? That if something is on your head, God can put it there and take it down. So you have a bald head like me. So that's the interpretation of that music. And on that note, I will say thank you all for being with us and listen to the beautiful, beautiful Liberian music.
Yo. Sit. Hi. Oh yeah. Oh, Honey,